Hey friends, hey family, hey loved ones, hey fellow travelers, and fools and magicians and gardeners. Yeah, this is the third transmission and it's a charm because the messenger and the squirrel is on fire. So, yeah, just kind of feeling like all of this momentum and things that want to emerge and being initiated into new ways and new ways of operating, new ways of being, new ways of playing, new ways of seeing things, new ways of participating and engaging and connecting. Yeah, new ways of being and creating. Like all this fertility and this new life cycling like within me that wants to regenerate and reform and rewire and repair and restore like a lot of things that were overlooked and hidden away or underdeveloped or put in a safe place for safekeeping until the time and proper timing was born, born through that patience and, sometimes non-linear sequencing, sometimes linear sequencing, but it's just how it all unfolds and flows and how it gets to go. So, just going with the flow, flowing with the force instead of forcing the flow, and letting go of different things that used to be a convenient outlet for directing energy, but sometimes, misdirecting it. But, just being in certain patterns that didn't quite know how to hold my energy, and thinking about leaky energy and incongruences between like words and actions and intentions and all of those things, and also like looking at my own judgments and resentments and like why they triggered me so much and why they bothered me, and actually what they were trying to alert me to and bring to my attention, show me, so I could open to what was going on, to what was unseen in certain ways that was a very real influence or hindering of my energy, like being locked in these old patterns and just old ways of being. And so I'm going to share some stories and a couple of different things from some books that my little grandkids kind of got down off the shelf. And because I used to do bibliomancy, which is just a form of divination, like where my intuition, I would just feel it like grab my attention like to some part of the house or some area, and then there'd be a book there and it'd be like, pick that up. And so I'd pick it up and flip it open to whatever page, and then wherever like my eye wanted to go to, or just kind of feel into, like there'd be a passage or a paragraph of total synchronicity, relatability to like whatever situation I was navigating or currently just swimming in. And so it's like something that was really fun that I just, used to open myself to invite that like game and that play with myself and with God, and like this game of hide and seek and playing. And it's kind of like let some of those things go because other things took more precedence or importance, or kind of in survival strategy. The last couple of years, needing to know, instead of letting go and letting it flow and letting things like show me like what I wanted to see, what I wanted to know, or what was meant for me, if that makes sense at all. But I missed like kind of this thing, and then just feeling like the energies, like the frozen energies that I had been recycling, whatever, they're finally able yeah, they're finally thawing and breaking up and dissolving and moving. And it just feels good. Like, to feel more enlivened instead of frozen, stuck, and mired in the quicksand of fuck this, judgment, like judgmental shit of like, why are you doing that? Oh my God. Why are you such an idiot? Oh my God. Oh, why don't you see this? Why don't you see? Why don't you see what's wrong with you? Like, what's wrong with me? Why don't you see what you're doing? Why don't you see what you're contributing to? Why don't you see what you're creating instead of projecting and shifting the blame onto me? And then having me defend myself. Yeah, those kinds of games, like that really needed to be seen for what they were, was manipulation and trying to take me away from my center and my power and my desire and my authenticity and my goals and my dreams and the connection with my soul and what I'm here to be, who I'm here to be and what I want to create and be and express and free, like for me and we, in service of the whole and in service to me and we. Yeah, so that we can all be like true to ourselves. But yeah, the only one that I can change is myself. And just looking around sometimes at the seeming rigidity that everybody else demonstrates or holds. Like, why are you so rigid? Why are you so narrow-minded? Why aren't you open? Like, why are you heartless, brainless, soulless? And keep getting frustrated, like, on the daily with all of that. Like, facepalm, facepalm, facepalm city. And so, it's just like, and then feeling guilty, oh, I shouldn't judge them, oh, like, But, like, every time a trigger comes up, it has something to show me. It has something for me. There's a spark. There's an energy that wants to receive care and attention. Not necessarily needing to be fixed, but be attended to with care. Just to be aware. And that's perfect, too, the judgment, like that we're always feeling guilty and we feel like we're on trial and we have to defend ourselves, like defensiveness, So it's like hypervigilance and defensiveness and always waiting for another shoe to drop or some kind of attack to defend against. And just remembering that we are truly, all of us, innocent, like at the core of who we are, and that purity that we are. But our minds were poisoned and infiltrated and hijacked and colonized by predatory forces, for lack of a better word, and usurpers, and the adversary. And so reclaiming like our own lives and our own minds and our own power and our own like love and purity and truth and innocence, that we truly are, and knowing that we have the capacity like to be the exact opposite. But is that really who we are? Or is it who we're choosing to be? Or is it who someone else made us? But it's possible for us to become what we already are and what we've always been. But maybe just a little misdirected and misled or confused, by the implanted messages in our head, that are reinforced for us on the daily as well. If we're not careful about what kind of programming we are continuing or contributing to, like our own suffering and all of that. So, yeah, just looking at a lot of these things. And deer medicine has come up in the last week. And I love deer, and that's like such a perfect symbol of the goddess and of the maiden and the child, and just that energy of grace and gentleness, yeah, of who she is. And so I wanted to read that little entry from Medicine Cards by Jamie Sams and David Carson, and it's number 4. And number 4 is a very amazing number of value that holds different things for structure and support and solidity and all of that, and like trust. And so I'm not going to read this whole thing, but there's a story of it's a cute little story, medicine story, about deer on her way to meet Great Spirit. And then there's this crazy scary demon that loves to put people in fear, because that's the only way that it can have power, is if it takes someone else's power away, which that's not foreign to me, because I've experienced that in my relationships, through like being on the other end, being on the receiving end of that abuse and that predatory, usurpation of power. To put someone in fear and break them down, like, that's not power, But I could see why somebody who feels inferior would need that to feel superior, and why there's that game, like that addictive game, like recycling, like pain, like for ourselves and others in relationship with us, if we're unconsciously playing in that game or being played by that game. It's that game's being played through us in certain ways. So deer is a good reminder, like, to remember. It's like remembrance and trust and compassion and gentleness. And so the deer is just so innocent, and it's a fawn in the story. So it is a young child with wonder and awe, and like that true spirit, that purity, And so that demon tries to scare that little fawn. And that fawn looks at him with compassion and says, well, I know that's true and everything, but I'm on my way to the Great Spirit now, so please let me pass, and I'll be on my way now. Just kind of like nonchalant. Like, that demon can be big and scary and say all the nasty things to put you in fear, or like any other animal might just drop dead on the spot because of the seeming power that demon form, expresses, and it appears that way. But the demon knows where the deer knows where the real power is, and she's not concerned with like a power struggle. She's just, all right, I accept that, and thank you, I'll be on my way now. I'm gonna go see Great Spirit. So Fawn's eyes were filled with love and compassion for this oversized bully of a demon. The demon was astounded by Fawn's lack of fear. No matter how he tried, he could not frighten Fawn, because her love had penetrated his hardened, ugly heart. Much to the demon's dismay, his rock-hard heart began to melt, and his body shrank to the size of a walnut. Fawn's persistent love and gentleness had caused the meltdown of the demon. Due to this gentleness and caring that Fawn embodied, the pathway is now clear for all of Great Spirit's children to reach Sacred Mountain without having to feel the demons of fear blocking their way. Deer teaches us to use the power of gentleness to touch the hearts and minds of wounded beings who are trying to keep us from Sacred Mountain. Like the dappling of Fawn's coat, both the light and the dark may be loved to create gentleness and safety for those who are seeking peace. If Deer has gently nudged its way into your cards today, you are being asked to find the gentleness of spirit that heals all wounds. Stop pushing so hard to get others to change, and love them as they are. Apply gentleness to your present situation and become like the summer breeze, warm and caring. This is your tool for solving the present dilemma you are facing. If you use it, you will connect with the Sacred Mountain, your centering place of serenity, and Great Spirit will guide you. So just remember, on the contrary, that be willing to find things to love about yourself and others, and your demons will melt away. Your fears cannot exist in the same place that love and gentleness abide. Remember, Fawn can teach you many lessons about unconditional love. In its true application, unconditional love means that no strings are attached. The gentleness of Fawn is the heart space of the Great Spirit, which embodies his and her love for us all. So I thought that was so great, so timely, so appreciated, so true, and profound in its simplicity. And so, yeah, just shrinking, the things that we've created in our mind and inflated and all of that, like, can block us and keep us, from our path back to ourselves into the path of the heart. Penetrated the hard, ugly heart. And so that's the struggle I've been kind of working through, is rigidity and hardness, inflexibility. And it just seemed to me that others were so inflexible and rigid and closed in their thinking and their ways of being and their ways they were able to receive or perceive different things. So really bothered me. It really got under my skin so much, because I desired them to be the open-minded people that they professed themselves to be, and that I had seen them be in previous situations and circumstances, and allowance for others that were different, or like making room for differences to be a thing. But with some things, it's just polarized to the extreme, where it is all or nothing, or things are taken out of context, and it's like the baby is thrown out with the bathwater sometimes. If there's like one little thing in there that somebody disagrees with, like the whole thing gets canceled, or they just shut down, or because they've got to protect like whatever story, identity, agenda that they have, and it just, there's no room for anything else. And so that was like another thing too, like with Alligator, like valuing all of life's experiences and in true equality. And it's just funny too, like the way the Alligator spelled is with the all of it, and ally, gate, yeah. So that's been coming up a lot, is like the gatekeepers and like gateways and things like that. And yeah, so fun stuff that I like to play with, just because that's just how I am, and that's how I roll, and comes naturally to me. And also the messenger hawk number 2, she's a big one, she's a great ally. Messenger hawk, messenger of the sky, circle my dreams and teach me the messages, teaching me the message as we fly. So hawk is akin to Mercury, the messenger of the gods. Hawk medicine teaches you to be observant, to look at your surroundings, observe the obvious in everything that you do. Life is sending you signals. Life is the initiation. If you have pulled the hawk card, then right now a clue about the magic of life is being brought to you. This magic can imbue you with the power to overcome a currently stressful or difficult situation. The test is your ability to observe the nuances of power lurking nearby. Is power the talent you have and are not using? Are solutions always hard to find because you have lost the broader vision of Hawk? Or is the Great Spirit displaying a gift that you need only to receive? Is the Great Spirit displaying a gift that you need only to receive? Have the colors of the morning inspired you to create, or has the gloominess of a present situation left you earthbound, unable to hear the voice within the raindrops splashing on your window? Pay attention. You are only as powerful as your capacity to perceive, receive, and use your abilities. What is called for here is an intuitive ability to discern the message carried within the cry of Hawk. The shrillness of Hawk's call pierces the state of unawareness and asks you to seek the truth. The ancients recognized this magnificent bird of prey as a messenger bringing tidings to their earth walk, the good red road from the worlds of the grandfathers and grandmothers who lived before them. If hawk were to magically cry, it was a sign to beware or be aware. This could mark the coming of a warring tribe, the birth of a child, or the celebration of counting coup. Hawk's cry signaled the need for the beholder to heighten awareness and receive a message. Hawk medicine is a totem that is filled with responsibility because hawk people see the overall view. Hawk is not like mouse who sees everything through a magnifying glass, like focus on the details. But hawk medicine people are aware of omens, messages from the spirit, and the color of the calling card you gave them 3 months ago. No detail slips by them unnoticed. If hawk has circled and landed in your card spread, you are to be aware of signals in your life, so notice and receive them. Hawk may be teaching you to grab an opportunity which is coming your way. On the other hand, hawk may be bringing you the message that you should circle over your life and examine it from a higher perspective. From this vantage point, you may be able to discern the hazards which bar you from freedom of flight. Remember, hawk has a keen eye and a bold heart, for hawk flies close to the light of grandfather sun. It's a little message blurb for the contrary position. Freedom of flight is a privilege, and being the messenger is an honor. The responsibility for delivery of the message is up to you. Take your flight and forget about interpreting. Because that is a form of interrupting, isn't it? When we try and interpret it like to fit our own agendas. So take your flight and forget about interpreting the omen your own way. Let the receiver decide what the message means. Haha. After all, unless it was sent specifically for you, you would be tampering. Ha ha ha. That is eye-opening and helpful for me. So I don't have to bother or worry myself to make it fit a certain way. It's just the message, and it's up to the receiver what they do with that, or how they choose to receive it and interpret its own messages for themselves. So 1, open up to the powers of observation. 2, not to tell others how to think or behave. To take care of your own emotional baggage before you begin receiving omens, visions, and messages. And to remember that all gifts are equal in the eyes of the Great Spirit. Oh, wow. That is so profound, like on all those threads that connect to. For myself, that's what I'm receiving in so many ways. So that's so great. Wow. That's huge. And so the next one is whale. That keeps coming up. The record keeper. Whale is very much like a swimming library. Whale carries the history of Mother Earth and is said to have been placed here by the ancients from the dog star Sirius. 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 So serious. Serious. Just breaking up the seriousness for myself, and yeah, so that I can just relax and root in, like, to that connection, to that trust, and be that messenger and that reflection that is needed, no matter how it's interpreted or seen or perceived, and just to let it be all it needs to be, and to let the receiver receive all they need about, like, the messages and the exchanges or the offerings. So biologists say that whale is a mammal and very possibly lived on land millions of years ago. In tribal legend, whales' move into the ocean happened when the earth shifted and Lemuria, the motherland, went below the waves. All of our petroglyphs speak of the motherland Mu and the disaster that brought the red race to North America from the west beyond the great waters. The symbols in the petroglyphs speak of the rivers and mountains crossed by our ancestors when they sought solid ground as the water receded. So water's been huge too. Lately, and the mountain and the air, yeah, all the elements, really. The fire. Whale saw the events that led to the settling of Turtle Island, North America, and has kept the records and knowledge of the motherland alive. It is said that Mu will rise again when the fire comes from the sky and lands in another ocean on Mother Earth. The native medicine people are waiting for this event as the next sign of Earth changes. Earth's children will have to unite and honor all ways and all races in order to survive. So it's unification and honoring all ways and all races. You know, not just to survive, but to thrive and to be like soul embodied and alive, enlivened. Yeah. Through like our soul-made lives. So whale medicine people are coded in their DNA to understand that sound frequencies can bring up records in the memories of ancient knowledge. They are usually clairaudient or able to hear both very low and very high frequencies. They are usually also psychically developed and fairly telepathic. Many times, however, they are not awakened to their gifts until it is time to use the stored records. Restored. The stored records. Many whale medicine people are able to tap into the universal mind of Great Spirit and have no idea how or why they know what they know. Only later, when they receive confirmation, do they begin to understand how they know or why they receive the impressions. Whale medicine teaches us to use the sounds and frequencies that balance our emotional bodies and heal our physical forms. To recall why the shaman's drum brings healing and peace is to align with whale's message. The drum is the universal heartbeat and aligns all beings heart to heart. Before the advent of speech and the primordial language, hand signs were used, and many tribes were silent most of the time. The language that was understood was the sounds of great spirits, other creatures, the animals. If you pulled the whale card, you are being asked to tap into these records and to allow yourself to be sung to by those who have the original language. We are the only creatures who do not have our own unique cry or call. Find yours. Allow your voice to use this sound to release tension or emotion. Whale signals a time of finding your origins, of seeing your overall destiny as coded in your DNA, and of finding the sounds that will release those records. You may never be the same again. After all, you are the melody of the universe and the harmony and the song of the other creatures. And using your voice to open your memory, you are expressing your uniqueness and your personal sound. As you open to this uniqueness, the animals that are your 9 totems may then send their sounds or calls to you or through you. This will open your personal records so that you may further explore your soul's history and commune with Whale, who carries the history of us all. And so, contrary message, a little blurb. It may be that you are having to deal with a lot of chatter in your head and you cannot get to your personal records. If so, you may need to use other sounds to enter the silence, like drumming or music or nature sounds. The drum or the rattle, the Indian flute, the sounds of nature may help. The call of the whale is the lullaby of the tides. Wow. Rock yourself gently and float into the world of the sea. Flow with the waters of time and collect your answers. They are the only truth that will lead to your personal pathway of knowing. Flow with the waters of time and collect your answers. They are the only truth that will lead to your personal pathway of knowing. Contrary whale is saying that you must desire to know. You must seek the whale song within you. In hearing whale's call, you will connect to the ancients on a cellular level, and then as you relax into the flow of the song's rhythm, you will begin to open your unique library of records. It may not come all at once, it may take practice, but if you hold the desire to know close to your heart, it will be whale's gift to you. Look to the great star nation and send gratitude to Sirius for the song of whale. So awesome. So awesome. Oh my gosh. So I just flipped to 43 Spider, and I wasn't planning on reading this, but I feel like I want to, so I will. So Spider wove the web that brought humans the first picture of the alphabet. The letters were part of the angles of her web. Dear asked Spider what she was weaving. Here comes Dear again. So Dear asked Spider what she was weaving and why all the lines looked like symbols, and Spider replied, "Why, Dear, it is time for Earth's children to learn to make records of their progress in their Earth walk." Dear answered Spider, "But they already have pictures. They already have pictures that show through symbols the stories of their experiences." "Yes," Spider said, "but Earth's children are growing more complex, and their future generations will need to know more. The ones to come won't remember how to read the petroglyphs." So it was that Spider wove the first primordial alphabet as she had woven the dream of the world that had become manifest. Spider's dream of the physical world had come to fruition millions of years before. Spider's body is made like the number 8, consisting of 2 lobe-like parts. Connected at the waist and 8 legs, spider is the symbol for the infinite possibilities of creation. Her 8 legs represent the 4 winds of change and the 4 directions on the medicine wheel. Spider weaves the webs of fate for those who get caught in her web and become her dinner. This is similar to humans who get caught in the web of illusion in the physical world and never see beyond the horizon into the other dimensions. The web of fate also represents a wheel of life which does not include any alternatives or solutions. It is typically human to get caught in the polarity of good or bad fortune without realizing that we can change it at any time. If we are not decisive enough about changing our lots in life, we may end up being consumed by our fears and limitations. So if we're not decisive enough about changing our lots, shifting like the things that are given to us, for our own well-being and authenticity, then we may end up being consumed by our fears and limitations. Spider is the female energy of the creative force that weaves the beautiful designs of life. Her web has hundreds of intricate patterns which catch the morning dew. Ooh. I just heard something about dew and how beautiful that really is and what it really is. What kind of substance it really is. Something along the lines of creator meeting creation, and that like in the dawn, or when between those times of light and dark, when they both merge together. It's so beautiful. I'll have to see if I can find that to share. So spider is the female energy of the creative force that weaves the beautiful designs of life. Her web has hundreds of intricate patterns which catch the morning dew. If spider has dropped from her web into your cards today, she may be telling you to create, create, create. Look for new alternatives to your present impasse. She can also be warning you that you are coming too close to an entangling situation. Spider could be asking you to journal or write out and review your progress. If you do this, you will not forget how you are creating a new or different phase in your life. Spider brings a message of different kind when she sees you becoming a bit too involved in the weaving of your life plans to notice the opportunity at the outskirts of your web. We can get a little too hyper-focused in certain areas and not notice like what's right being presented or offered or given to us, in our vision. We might have overlooked like the things that are already here for us. And so, if this is the case, spider gets your attention so that you notice that something you have woven has borne fruit. Congratulations. Spider caught you just in time before you missed the opportunity on the edge of your web or reality. The most important message from spider is that you are an infinite being who will continue to weave the patterns of life and living throughout time. Do not fail to see the expansiveness of the eternal plan. So sometimes, the contrary message says to take a look at another message. So lack of creativity. If you fail to use your talents to get the web spinning, your lack of creativity can change into destructiveness. If you are feeling stagnant and unable to move in a positive direction, you may come to resent others who are doing well. This resentment will become a black widow spider and eat you up, and the only one to mourn your demise will be you. Get moving, find joy and new ideas in the accomplishments of others, and use them to propel you into a new phase of creative spinning on your own web of delight. Observe spider's web and find pleasure in the ideas you receive from her universal language. So if we're feeling stuck, and stuck in a negative mindset and attitude, and feeling that resentment, we pretty much get consumed by the bitterness that we hold inside. And so, we can choose joy. It's not meant to ignore our grief or the things that bring us pain or those feelings. But to create and respond to the call and to what's being asked of us, like by our own soul. Because our soul always wants to create and express itself and know itself and be all it is. Be and express and be free to create joyfully and authentically, naturally. So that was very sweet, awesome messages. Thank you to the totems and the allies and to the teachers who share all of these beautiful wisdom nuggets of truth and beauty to help us remember who we are and to help us on our path, and through like this mystery and this gift of life that has been given to us, to create and to enjoy, to create joy, to enjoy creations and being creative and fertile, because we are that. We're the fertile, the fertility and the loving hearts of Creator, the children. And there is no separation. We're all a part of that wholeness of all that is. So don't get lost in semantics and rigid expectations. Listen to the signals that are coming and open to other possibilities. Like maybe we see something and it's like one thing and that's what that is, But what else is it? What else could it be? What does it have the potential? Or sometimes it is just what it is, And once we accept that radical acceptance, maybe more will be revealed to us, or maybe there's nothing we have to do with it. It just depends, and that's discernment. And paying attention. So where is our attention? And that's interesting too, because one of the other books that little James got down, The Shaman's Body and Dream Body by, I think it's Arnold Mindell. And I flipped open to page 28, 29. And I just kind of came over here to page 29 at the bottom, and it says planets in the body. And so it's like, it really is cool. Synchronicities are not dependent only on the Tao or spirit of an area, but may occur between persons who are emotionally connected. And so that's super interesting. It's just talking about two sisters that actually had breast cancer at the same time and died around the same time. So it was some kind of energy circulating through this system and these quantum connections in a certain way. The first woman developed cancer in the same breast as the sister, and both women died consequently at the same time. There is practical significance in knowing that the body's synchronicities exist. Strong, spontaneous, unusual symptoms may be connected with environmental situations, hence getting oneself in order, making oneself more comfortable, letting out certain pressures, or living certain feelings may have a relieving effect on others, whether or not one's problems are worked out in public. Just as the body was conceived in Europe as a manifestation of the universe, so particular parts of the body were supposed to be governed by given planets. For example, how the solar plexus area is governed by Leo, the sign of the summer sun, passion and aggression. The aspect of the stomach, or the solar plexus, is also found in the Indian conception of the area, the so-called Manipura, center of passion, fire, and even destructiveness. Super interesting, with the subtle body. The Chinese thought that illness occurred when these special gods were governing dignitaries or attributed to particular body centers. The Chinese thought that illness occurred when these gods wandered out of the body and returned to their astrological abodes in the universe. So this theory corresponds to the shamanistic idea that illness comes from a loss of soul. So in psychological terminology, we speak of persons who are too much in their heads, who are out of their bodies, who are depressed, lonely, or in creative moods. The number of body centers varies according to given cultures, just as it does among individuals. In Western occult tradition, there are 5 body centers located on the spinal axis through which energy from the earth and sun distribute itself in the body. Eastern subtle body pictures contain 5, 6, or 7 chakras, depending on whether Indian, Tibetan, Chinese, Buddhist, or Hindu formulations are used. In the West, the centers are above the head, in the throat, heart, sexual area, and beneath the feet. In the typical Eastern Indian portrait, the centers are located above the head, between the eyes, in the heart, solar plexus, spleen, and sacral region, and in the base of the spine. So the Kayushas, or 7 body centers of Japanese martial arts, are derivatives of Indian subtle body theories. The relationship between the different subtle body centers and the nerve plexi, or nerve junctions, of the real body may be seen by comparing figures 14 and 15. This relationship often causes the theoretical arguments: are dream body sensations caused by the real body, or is it the occultist thesis correct that the real body results from the descent of the spirit into matter? Both arguments have certain validity and application. The first explains why mechanical body areas appear to affect dreams, while the second conception supports the psychologist's observation that changes in an attitude apparently alter body experience. Both types of causal thinking are useful analogs of what may actually be happening, but both are limited rational explanations. An empirical understanding of the relationship between the real body and the subtle body is simply that they are 2 aspects of one thing, the dream body. Our understanding of the real body is based at least partially upon subtle body sensations, which cannot be measured. Now, for the sake of completeness, I would like to review some of the characteristics attributed to the chakras and add my own practical observations about these body centers. The chakra at the base of the Indian subtle body system is called Muladhara, or the root support, corresponding to the gonads and sexual functions of the real body. Malfunctions in this area are related to impotence, nymphomania, or frigidity. In this center is the elephant, India's symbol of domesticated energy, roughly equivalent to the significance we in the West attribute to the horse. In my experience with this center, troubles with the sexual organs and urinary function are often connected to overly domesticated, strictly trained compulsiveness. This area is one of the first of which we become conscious in life. Oh, that's very interesting. Toilet training domesticates the horse, so to speak. Cramping in the genital area is therefore frequently related to the inability to let go of one's identity in public life. One restricts the inner animal or child who defecates and urinates at will and who exercises no control over herself. Super interesting. I'm just going to leave it there, and we'll see what else pops up from that, because for myself, there's already several things at play, and in interplay, here. So that's so interesting too, the horse and the elephant, which have been other animals that have been coming up for me, like the horse a lot the last couple months. And then the elephant, that's funny, I didn't even read that part of the book before this video, but I just had the urge to put on this necklace today, which was my mom's, and it's an elephant with like some kind of white stone, and I just was drawn to the silver, and I've never worn it before. It was one of the pieces of jewelry that I decided to to take home with me and to keep remembering my mom that I lost a couple years ago now in February of, I believe it was 2023. And it's just grieving the loss of my mother, and also the way that my family went through the grieving process. When we did have a choice to come together, and that's what I hoped for. I really hoped for that, to come together and be closer through that sharing of grief. But it actually was the opposite what happened. I felt more dismembered and cut off from the family afterwards, and isolated and dismembered, disconnected and exiled. And so not only have I lost my mother, but I also feel like, in a lot of ways I've lost my father. And the dreams and the hopes and the wishes that I had for something deeper and more intimate with my sisters. And that was really painful for me to come around to and accept, like, that they weren't emotionally available and that they didn't have the capacity or the desire, like, to build trust or collaborate or share intimacy, like true intimacy with me. They weren't available for that, or interested or have the capacity for that, or the trust. And so distrusting themselves in certain ways and projecting that untrustworthiness onto me, of those things that they couldn't accept or appreciate within themselves, couldn't integrate or acknowledge or respond to with love, attention, and care. And so I just, tired of being the scapegoat and the garbage disposal and everything. So just working through a lot of my feelings around that, and why I was so insistent. I need to show them. I need to like express certain things and show them and different things in certain ways so that they can see where I'm coming from and they might understand, and we can have a bridge of some kind to be able to connect and share and exchange in a safe space of allowance and openness. And just feeling really upset and angry about their lack of flexibility and their mental and emotional rigidity and intolerance and impatience and insistence on their own way. And it's like, are we all, religious fanatics trying to convert each other to our unquestionable dogmas, or what are we doing here? Like, why isn't there room for differences? Why isn't there room for questions? Why isn't there room for curiosity? Like, why isn't there room for me? Like, really, why isn't there room for intimacy? Why isn't there space to be, like, just to be? Like, why are all these false metrics and standards, like double standards and hypocrisy, running the show and blocking the flow of what we could share and have together, create together, And so that was very disheartening and disillusioning, and to see them in that light of being very miserly and cut off, and uninterested, disinterested, or disconnected, or just maybe in a certain way it was so that they could protect themselves, because it was a lot of, pain for them to grieve and to go through. But it just felt very dishonoring in many different ways. And I didn't understand it. It was incomprehensible and very heart-shattering, really, because I had all of this desire to share so much love and that purity with them, and like my own idealism and desire to be in alignment with my own integrity and to follow my word, to honor my word and the promises that I've made, to my mom, to honor her wishes. And I took that on as a responsibility, but I was willing, as a labor of love, to perform and to follow through with all of these things. And it just felt like none of my efforts were recognized, and all, the things that I did do out of love, with love, for love, through love, all of that wasn't recognized, and it was shit on. And then I was accused of, being untrustworthy and, not worthy of the trust that, that I feel like I have earned through my actions, but they haven't been seen because of, different selective memories and assumptions and prejudices and agendas, their own ego agendas and different things. And so, like, yeah, it's just like wounding and all of that. But I was able to see like a lot of the dysfunctional dynamics at play, and also where I had become rigid in my own thinking and my own like desires to that they would see me as good, as worthy, as right, as enough, as trustworthy, as part of themselves, you know. But I don't really know what they need. But I feel like too, like I really did need that for me, even though it was super painful and excruciating, and like it's not complete. Like you don't have closure with them, but I can have closure with myself. And I'll just know that they are where they're at, and also accept them as they are, and love them as they are, and thank them. But I don't have to caregive for them, and I don't have to change them, and I don't have to do anything for them, like, per se. And, like, I just get to show up for me and take care of my responsibilities, and let them go freely on their way of learning and growth and remembering. It's, yeah, like the flexibility thing, that was interesting for Gator. And patience and proper timing, and just attuning to my own surroundings and my own environment, my own needs, really, to come back to me and see, you know, those traits that they displayed and played out for me, why they were so enraging and maddening for me. And to see where I had been rigid and inflexible. And because in this last year, I've been feeling like stiffness in my body where I've never felt. I don't remember feeling this kind of level of stiffness and like achiness, like when it comes to the support system. So like my feet have been like, yes, alternating like left and right feet, like different aches and pains and new things, and on and off plantar fasciitis, and yeah, just different things with my heels, and like all things that almost feel like bone spurs and whatnot, and like just really about support and rootedness and being grounded and all of that. And then also like been having like really crazy, uncomfortable, like excruciating, sometimes painful spasms and like tightness in my tailbone, which I've never had before, and it really, like, it's kind of a drag. Yeah, to and so like that root chakra too, like it's like the support and the foundation, and yeah, the roots, asking for attention. And so I have been like paying attention and responding with care to those things that are asking for my attention. And also, yeah, like just more body care, more physical care, and then seeing what areas relate mentally, emotionally. Like, yeah, if it is two sides or two parts of the same thing, because all relates to the whole. Like all of the parts, mind, body, spirit, like the emotions, the psyche, the mental, the mental planes, the physical plane, the emotional plane, the psychic plane, and the dream states and all of that, they all relate. And so are we just focused on one part is more reliable than the other, more valued or more important or more essential than another part? Like, I feel like we're reevaluating and beginning to see the value of all the different parts and all of those things. And yeah, maybe we have overvalued and undervalued some parts because of certain influences or misperceptions, different things like that. So that was helpful for me to, yeah, to look into and to receive like those messages. And so this Archetypal Universe by Ren Butler with some of the astrological combinations and energies like that we can work with and harmonize with and work through, or take, to access and to use to for our own well-being, like as it's being like expressed and manifested, that we can use it and harmonize with it in our own ways for our own like whole organized system. And Mercury, Venus, and Saturn came up here, and Moon, Venus, and Uranus, and Moon, Venus, and Saturn came up. And so that is interesting because Saturn and Venus are doing an interesting dance too right now. We just had our full moon. And so this is 272 from the Archetypal Universe. The principles: emotional maturity and integrity, a quiet and modest charm, contented enjoyment of life, simple pleasures, quality relationships, and quality time. A tough exterior yet soft interior, deeply registered parental punishment, abuse or neglect, chronic fears of rejection and abandonment, alternating with lonely yearnings to connect, defended emotional boundaries. Plus, emotional maturity, endearing self-effacement and integrity, a tough exterior, soft interior, deliberate expressions of affection, structured enjoyment, quality time, restrained self-indulgence, deferred gratification, happy minimalism, pleasant domestic routines, happy cocooning at home, a need to self-soothe, emotional loyalty and responsibility, a need for relationship security and stability, quality relationships, gentle and kind responses to relationship challenges, love overcoming the hardest emotional boundaries, sympathy for other people's problems. Trouble is a part of your life, and if you don't share it, you don't give the person who loves you a chance to love you enough. Dinah Shore. VE equals MO/SA. Not exactly sure what that is, but I included it. Attraction to older mates, material considerations in relationships, working partnerships, solidly enduring marriages, the ideal of growing older together, living to a ripe old age, long-term friendships, the deliberate choosing of one's friends, musical or artistic practice, the business side of the arts, aesthetic austerity, artistic work at home. And then the negative part of this is deeply registered parental punishment or neglect, inadequate bonding in infancy and childhood, fear of being re-wounded in one's vulnerable moments,